Welcome to the official Queerantine Aftershow hosted by me, Cory, Stewart. We're back for another outlandish, outrageous, and off-the-rails episode. First of all, say hello to the only person I know who prefers their water unfiltered, my co-host, Kisos. And now...
I do, actually.
I knew when I wrote that. Now I'd like to welcome the enchanting, engaging, enlightened Elisabeth Elektra to this week's Aftershow. Woo, woo, woo!
Thank you so much for having me, both of you.
Oh my goodness.
Finally, I'm so excited.
We were so excited to have you, Elisabeth, and you and I have been chatting a lot recently, so I was really thrilled that you were able to be here and join us. It's such a thrill. All the way from where exactly?
Glasgow. I live in Glasgow.
Glasgow. And we're keeping you up late tonight because it's like 8:10 there right now, right? I mean, late enough.
Yes, and I am a granny. I like to go to bed early.
Well, I guess it's good then that we had the time change right now. This 2-week period of time.
Exactly.
Perfect time.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
It's funny because
you might say it was written in the stars.
Both of our hosts today
in the constellations
are from different parts of the world, so the time change actually worked in our favor for both of them.
Yeah.
So, Elisabeth, how are things going in Glasgow? Like, are you guys ahead of the coronavirus curve? Are people getting vaccinated? What's happening out there?
Yeah, I mean, Scotland overall has definitely been better than England in terms of how well they've handled the pandemic. And I think that the vaccine rollout's been really good across the UK. So it's we're starting to feel like a little bit of hope that things might get back to some sort of, normality.
Completely.
Was someone saying that my volume is too low?
I just turned up your volume a little bit on here, so hopefully that helps.
Yeah,
Everyone let us know if it does work out. And we know the movements
are weirdly choppy.
You know what, guys? The after show doesn't have the same budget that Queerantine has, so sometimes we have to deal with these things. But
the tech is a little bit lower.
Yeah, but don't worry. Next season we will upgrade the tech. Please stick with us. I promise you, it's going to be worth it, and you will climax at some point. Elisabeth and I are going to make sure of it. All right, so we're going to change things up a little bit this episode because our game today is actually going to reveal a lot about Elisabeth, and I didn't want to give things away before interviewing Elisabeth. So, without further ado, we're going to play a game that I am calling Battle of the Elektras. Let me just change to our game show music. Here's how it'll work. I'm gonna say a random fact about either Elisabeth Elektra or Carmen Electra. Kisos will have to guess which ones apply to Carmen and which ones apply to Elisabeth. For each wrong answer, Kisos and I both have dumbbells on hand that we will have to do a repetition of 5 dumbbell exercises, whatever those are, because I wanted to bring some sort of health into my life, and this was a good excuse to do so. Exactly, we need fitness. And Elisabeth is the one who's bringing that to us. So thank you, Elisabeth. You're always looking out for us and our well-being.
That sounds so on brand.
Watching other people, forcing other people to do your bidding.
I mean, that's actually really on brand.
There we go. You know what? I'm also a mind reader and a clairvoyant, which we're going to get into that in a bit.
Of course you are.
So, the first fact is, this Elektra was a stripper from the age of 17. Kisos, is it Carmen or Elisabeth?
I'm going to assume Carmen.
Elisabeth, let us know what the correct answer is.
That's actually me, Kisos.
Oh, yes. Okay,
I
so...
I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Before we do our dumbbell exercise, can you please elaborate, Elisabeth? Because I think everyone, including myself, wants to know, what was that experience like at 17?
I mean, honestly, I'd been kicked out of home and I was living in a big city, and I was on the dole, and you don't get much money on the dole. And I remember being in town with my friend Darren, and me and Darren, we used to go and sit in the square in town, and he would steal sandwiches from Boots the Chemist. And we would sit and like just do nothing, like total like dropouts. And a friend of his, Emily, came up and she was like, oh, I'm just on my way to work. And I was like, what do you do? And she was like, I'm a stripper. And then she was like, oh, you should work for my same agent, gave me the number. And that was kind of how it started. And it was just great because it's a really good way to make a lot of money and fit it around your life, you know? And like that was, but it was definitely like, I wouldn't go back and change it. I loved my job.
How long did you end
And what was it like, kind of, I guess?
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like transitioning out of it and like working into like getting into music from there.
I mean, I always did music alongside it. I didn't stop doing it that long ago. I did it in total for like 10 years.
Okay.
But I think it fits a lot in with, you know, like I feel like that is just a part of me that will always be there.
And I'm sure an experience that broadened your
expression.
Horizon. Sorry, Kisos and I like to talk over each other at all times, Elisabeth. It's just the way that it works. Let's do our 5 dumbbell exercises. I'm going to do the traditional curl. Kisos, you can do whatever you like as long as you remain on camera, because I know people.
All right. Shoulder presses.
You can do 5,
because
I would say.
How are you doing it?
3. Yeah. I think I've done more than 4. And 5. And look at that, Elisabeth. We've done it. All right, on to our next clue. This Elektra was a professional topless wrestler. Is it Carmen or is it Elisabeth? Kisos?
I feel like Elisabeth wouldn't have had time, but then again, maybe this was another aspect of the club where she worked. So, you know what? Let's go with Elisabeth.
And Elisabeth?
Yeah, it's me.
It's you? Yeah!
So what?
I was like, it has to be combined, though.
So I was talking with Elisabeth beforehand, and she let me know that she has a photo of her. Explain what the photo is, and also just like explain topless wrestling, because I'm fascinated.
So it was, Kisos is right, and it was like, so I worked for an agent who used to like send us to different bars to strip in. It kind of, and then I worked in clubs after that. But my agent would get all sorts of different jobs, and one of the jobs she would get would be for women to wrestle topless together. And so me and my friend Judith used to go, and they'd put like a huge kind of pool out full of jelly. And then we would get into the pool in the jelly and wrestle with each other, and it was absolutely hilarious. It was really painful because like the plastic and the jelly would like hurt your skin, so you'd come out with all these cuts all over you. But it was hilarious. It was like kind of fake and entertainment. It was great. It was probably one of my favorite things I did in that line of work.
Usually when you're playing with jelly, you don't result in cuts of any sort, but that's amazing. Did you, is it like petroleum jelly? Is it like Vaseline? Or is it like
No, like jelly that you eat.
Oh my god.
Like jelly that like jelly, not even like jam, like, what do you call it? You call it Jello.
Okay,
Jello.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Okay, got it. Wow. That is, I want you to find that photo, and I want you to send it to me as soon as you find it, because I need to see that.
Right, like one of my boobs is just like out like that, and we're both screaming, and there's like pink jelly everywhere. It's really great.
This sounds like a video game concept.
I was gonna say single art.
Single art, that's not a bad idea too. The follow-up album. The next clue is this Elektra appeared in a childhood production of Peter Pan. Carmen or Elisabeth?
I mean, this could be either. I feel like test-taking logic tells me to pick Carmen, but I think I'm just gonna pick Elisabeth again.
Elisabeth? Oh no, she froze.
Oh, I think you froze for half a second. You're back now, but you were frozen for half a second, so we didn't hear the
Oh
answer.
no, it wasn't me. Sorry.
It was Carmen. Carmen is, and I bet you Carmen played Peter Pan. I couldn't find out exactly who, but you know, Peter Pan's always played by a woman. It seems in most productions.
A women.
So, a women.
That's actually true.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do 5.
Okay,
and
here
I'm
we
doing
go.
2, 3.
Let the record show I haven't worked
4.
out in months. So even though this
5.
is only 15 pounds each, your girl is struggling.
You know what? I can't even do shoulder presses because I'll pull my neck. Welcome to your 30s. The next clue is this Elektra studied classical ballet at Performing Arts School.
God. I guess maybe Cory's tactic was for me to pick Carmen Electra as like the more sexualized one and not expect it from Elisabeth. So, based on that logic of Cory trying to trick me, I'm gonna say, oh no! Oh, you're back.
Oh, she's
I'm gonna
back.
say
I'm back. Sorry.
Carmen.
You're gonna say Carmen. You are correct. It is Carmen.
I figured out your game.
And you know what's actually unfortunate is I had a trick question before that I was going to ask you, and I skipped over it because I was in the hue of working out and my brain completely lost its function. But the fun thing about both Carmen and Elisabeth is they both went to performing arts school. Elisabeth, you went for, refresh my memory?
I studied music and visual arts.
Makes sense.
And visual arts for sure, and music is like it's. I think the problem was I couldn't give that away because if I said either visual arts or music, you would know it was Elisabeth because the proof is in the pudding. Right. Okay,
it's in the pudding and the jello.
The proof is in the jello. This Elektra is fluent in French. Carmen or Elisabeth? I'm picking up my weight because I can anticipate what's going to happen next.
I'm gonna pick Elisabeth.
It's me.
Cory, I'm on to you.
You are getting it.
So
Elisabeth, how did you learn French? Tell us about that.
I moved to France when I was 6 years old. And I was kind of thrown in at the deep end because my parents just put us in school and were like, cool, off you go. And that was it. So we just had to learn it really fast.
Wow.
That's incredible.
See you. We'll pick you up at 3. Have fun.
How long did you end up living in France for?
I lived there till I was 12, so 6 years in total. But I miss it. I really miss it.
That's amazing, though, to be able to pick up a second language when you're that young. I mean, and they also say that people who can speak many languages end up being, or are, some of the smartest people. I won't, there are some exceptions, as we know with Kisos, but yeah, absolutely. The next clue is, this Elektra's real name is Tara Lee. Kisos?
I have no idea. We'll go with Carmen.
Elisabeth?
Yes, it's Carmen.
I'm so talented.
You're doing well. You're doing well. I will give that to you. Okay, our final clue is, this Elektra has English, Irish, German, and Dutch ancestry.
I mean, it could be either, but I'll go with Elisabeth.
Elisabeth?
It's actually not me.
There you go. We got 5 more, and that was our last clue. So we'll do these out. I'm gonna
what's
switch.
Your
I was just gonna say. Tell us while we strain.
Oh, me. English, Scottish, French, Scandinavian, and Southern Europe, mostly.
We have
some Jewish ancestry from what I know as well.
So we have crossover, Elisabeth, with English and Scottish. But
oh, yay!
Yeah. Stewart, I think, is a Scottish name, from what my grandparents have told me, but
Stewart?
They've been drunk most of the time, so I don't know if it's real or not.
Well, I think that sounds very Scottish.
Yeah, and also my aunt used to do Highland dancing and threatened to make me do it. So I think that's another thing that's also a Scottish inherently as well, a Scottish thing. Yeah.
It's really Scottish. I mean, the Highlands are in Scotland, so
well, that
super Scottish.
It all checks out then. Thank you so much.
As a kid, I used to.
Oh, go ahead, Kisos.
I was gonna say, as a kid, I used to do Riverdance impressions all the time because I thought it was so cool. So I'm not Scottish, but like, just wait till you see me dance. You'll be fooled.
That was the Battle of the Electras. Thank you so much for giving me those tips, Elisabeth. I was texting with her last night and trying to get some really fun facts. And there are so many fascinating things about Elisabeth, more that we're going to get into in a bit. But right now what I thought we should do is perhaps get into everyone's favorite part of the show, which is, say it with me, Kisos, Squirt!
Squirt!
And Tell!
Tell!
We've asked Elisabeth to compile 3 things that have been essential to her quarantine journey. Elisabeth is going to walk us through each of those 3 things. Now, take it away, Elisabeth.
Okay, so the first thing that I've picked is... This is rose tea. Yes, I am a granny. That is my whole life, and I am not making music. I basically live like a grandma, and I'm obsessed with this. This is rose tea.
They're so cute.
And aren't they? They're little rosebuds, and I bought like 2 huge bumper bags just as the pandemic was hitting, and I honestly don't think I could have got through it without it. It's really, and I guess like it's not, I love herbs. I'm really into herbalism, and I just find rose and other herbs really supportive. You know, they're really good for anxiety and that kind of thing. And so
that's interesting. I didn't know that about roses for anxiety. I will definitely be looking into that after this stream immediately.
It's great. It's also really good for energy boundaries. So if somebody's like sensitive, then drinking rose tea is like a really good boundary herb energetically.
Okay.
Interesting. Do you ever put them in like the bath with you, or is it just for tea?
I do. Yes, I put them in the bath.
You could say that Elisabeth is covered in roses at all times. Elisabeth, I adjusted your mic a little bit, so you should be fine to let it go. I turned it up a little bit more, so you'll be fine.
Oh, good.
Yeah, you should be all right.
I can't see the chat anymore, by the way. I don't know if I'm being like a total Luddite, but why can I not see the chat?
Maybe refresh. Sometimes things just like
Twitch works against us in mysterious ways, and that's really
all I mean, everything looks fine for me, but sometimes on like your individual.
Yeah, well, I can. All right, I'm actually going to try. I'm going to click to a different page. Oh, that has not helped.
Tina says that she absolutely loves any tea that uses rose, and yes, same for roses in the bath. It's a popular thing, and I had no idea. I've been blinded for all this time, and now I've come to see. What is your second item, Elisabeth?
My second item is my tarot cards.
Ooh.
Gorgeous.
They're actually such a beautiful deck, and they are by a Canadian artist.
Oh, represents.
Danielle Noel. Yeah. And I've been into tarot since I was a little kid.
Oh, wow.
They're just so beautiful, and they're also just they're like, I don't know, I use tarot for sort of self-reflection.
Yeah.
More than anything else, and I've just found them, this has been such an intense year that I've felt like I've needed more of that, and
of course.
This deck has been like by my bed all the time, and yeah.
So can you read yourself with tarot decks? Like, is that something that you're able to do?
You can, but I would say that when you read for yourself, you have to be looking for kind of clarity on things that are in the now. I don't think you can really predict future events, and also my feeling on it is that how you're feeling will affect what you pull. So if it's something that's really emotionally charged, I think it's better to get somebody else to read for you if you really want a reading around it. But I use tarot as like a kind of a self-reflective tool.
Yeah, I love tarot. Like the only times that I've ever had a tarot reading I've just been like floored. I'm just like, wait, okay, it just feels like it changes my whole trajectory and like priorities, and I'm like, okay, wait, I feel like I have hope and a path now, so that's so cool.
Sometimes
that's what I love about it.
I feel that way sometimes about just horoscopes in general as well. Like when I see a horoscope that's positive, it's not so much that like I always believe it, but when it's encouraging, it does make me work towards whatever it's encouraging of, and that also sort of helps. But then sometimes horoscopes are completely off, and you're just like, obviously this was written by a 3-year-old on methamphetamine.
I trust Chani's. Every time I read one from Chani Nicholas, I'm like, oh my god.
Oh, Chani's amazing. She's really amazing. What are your signs? Well, actually, I know Kisos, you're a Leo, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm a Leo, Sun, Leo, Moon, Aquarius rising.
Oh, I see that Aquarius rising. What about you, Cory?
I'm an Aries, and I don't know what my rising and the other one are, and the only reason I don't know is because I checked a few times, and like I have 2 different times that I was born in my head, so I can't remember which one is which. So my mom has a plate somewhere at home with the time on it, so I've got to evaluate that, and then we'll find out for sure. What sign are you, Elisabeth?
I'll tell you what, Cory.
Oh yeah.
Cory, you need to get your mum to send me a photograph of that plate, and I will do your chart for you.
I would love that.
I can't not know. I need to know what your other signs are, because I see the Aries, but I'm interested in the rest. I'm a Leo also.
Oh, of course. That's why I love you.
My moon is in Pisces, and I'm Gemini rising, so I'm a bit of a mix-up.
I love a Leo.
I remember looking at mine and I was like, mine's wrong. I was like, how can I be Leo twice?
That's like a lot of
No, you're very
energy.
Leo.
Yeah, he is. He's very,
very
Leo.
I love Aries too. I love Aries.
Well, apparently Aries are like people are probably really fascinated, but I'm going into this because guess what? It's my fucking show. So Aries apparently are like the first, this is their first run around the earth or something. Like they're doing everything for the first time, and they're like the youth of not the youth, but like the naive part of the chart that are just kind of like fighting through for the first time.
Well, I've heard that too, and my feeling on that is that it's not so much that, but if you look at the 12 signs as like a wheel, it's that you're embodying a certain energy for your sun. Like the sun is it's your personality, and it's only one part of your entire chart. And actually, every major planet matters as much as your sun sign. And but the sun sign is like it's almost like your purpose in life. And I feel like Aries are just embodying that energy of, it's kind of like the Fool in tarot, that energy of like just jumping into things. It's the energy of like, it's the energy of beginnings. But I don't believe, because it's not like every because Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It's not like every Pisces I meet is like super wise and has been on the planet like bazillions of times. I feel like it's just energies we're all embodying in these incarnations.
Got it. Well, I'm gonna ask my mom, and even if it's in storage somewhere, I'm gonna ask her to interrupt her entire life and figure out what the hell time I was born, and we'll get it working. But on with the show.
I'm here for that.
Let's hear what your third item is, please, Elisabeth.
Well, my third item, I don't actually have like anything to really show you, but it's just like music. You know,
of course.
Making music has been the thing above everything else that has got me through this. So like, I would show you all my DAW logic, but that would be really boring. You all know what it looks like.
I've loved like all the dance remixes that you've done. Like I love that idea. You. I've been like considering remixing my own stuff for a long time. So like you're very much an inspiration for that if I ever do it, because I'm just like, they're so good. I love the reimaginings of your own work.
Bless you. I appreciate that. It was good. Like it felt good to do, and it was like definitely sort of weirdly cathartic also.
And it's also really smart, Elisabeth, too, because when you're putting together the music itself, you put out the original, but if the song is something that you're proud of and you love so much, it's great to be able to revisit it and also to extend the life of that song. So it's an incredibly smart thing to do, and your fans get to enjoy it like we do, and it continues to live on, which is great. And you've got no shortage of visuals. Like, you can make single arts until the cow comes home because you've got so much so much content, which we're going to get into in a little bit. How did you get started in music, and particularly recording music?
I mean, so I come from a really musical family, and I grew up, my mum's an opera singer, amateur, not professional. My sister is a professional opera singer.
Wow.
My brother is actually, he really introduced me to a lot of music that I'm really into. He's gay. He's got great taste. He was like always into like really quite obscure but like really good dance music. You know, kind of introduced me, I think, to a lot of stuff that because I've always been just really into pop music. But then my brother introduced me to stuff that was less mainstream, and I think I just always knew that music. You know, I started writing songs, like I would sing them to my friends in the bathroom at school. Like that was just always what I wanted to do, and I would get really drunk at parties and sit and just like sing songs to people that I'd made up. But really, I didn't get like a lot of confidence in writing my own stuff until I learned to use like GarageBand and Logic, and then I kind of found a way to write these songs down and started releasing stuff. Really, like about 7 years ago, maybe.
Okay, so you've been at it. I mean, you have so many influences that you can clearly hear in your music. I forgot to mention to you one that I don't know if it is an influence, but that I hear and that I'm a huge fan of is, have you ever listened to any Sarah Brightman stuff before, particularly when she's gotten into electronic music?
I haven't, but weirdly, I'd never listened to her. But then, before I put out Mercurial, the guy who does my radio, Ewan, sent my stuff to this press guy, and he was like, "Oh, I really like this. It's very Sarah Brightman." And I was like, "Who the fuck's Sarah Brightman?"
Oh my god!
It's Elisabeth Elektra.
I saw this video of her like levitating on the stage, wearing a fucking like angel costume or something. And I was like, "Okay, yeah."
I'm gonna send you some tracks, Elisabeth, because there is a particular album, her Harem album, that is absolutely incredible, and it really, Mercurial really reminds me of that. So I'll send it to you. But one of your other one of your other influences, I assume, based on the fact that you're a major fan, is Madonna. Is that not right?
I do love Madonna. I do love Madonna. Yeah. I mean, I just don't remember a time when she hasn't been, like, in my life.
What was your first touch point with Madonna?
I think it was the album that I really fell in love with was Something to Remember, which I know is, like, not the greatest album, but it just, I remember listening to that a lot. I got the CD when I was in Singapore when I was a kid, and I just listened to it over and over again, and then I just listened to everything, you know. But I mean, I think she's just been everywhere, but I think that was the point where I became like a fan rather than just a sort of passive listener.
Yeah.
The reason I always ask Madonna fans is because there's always that one album that seems to like hit, and then people start to discover the back catalog. So it's interesting. Something to remember for anyone who doesn't know was a collection of ballads. It was really... Madonna's not known for her ballads, but she can write a really good ballad. She has some of the best.
Oh, her ballads are fucking great. I mean, I think that one of my favorite Madonna songs is "Live to Tell." I think it's
so beautiful,
completely genius.
Who are some of your other influences, Elisabeth?
So actually, I would say like the only artist who I'm a fan of tons of people, but like my favorite artist is Prince. And I have just been a huge Prince fan forever. And I feel like the inspiration with Prince is interesting because I don't think it's there in my music so much, but it's just more about who he was, how he embodied his art, how committed he was to his art. I'm also a really big Depeche Mode fan. I'm a big fan of more contemporary stuff like Christine and the Queens. I love The Knife. I love, Grimes, Lana Del Rey. I'm really inspired by people who kind of make their own world, and then you can get into it and enjoy everything in it.
Which is also what you do, coincidentally.
100%.
That's really good to hear, because that's why I always that's my intention above everything else. So.
Well, I want to ask you...
Succeeded.
I want to ask you quickly about your debut album, Mercurial, as well, that you released in 2020, soon after the pandemic had hit. Tell me about what were the wins, what were the losses, and also I want to talk to you a little bit about touring in the UK. So take it away, wherever you want to start.
I mean, it was surreal, and I'd already started the campaign before the pandemic hit, and I thought, fuck it, why not just keep going? I've got nothing really. I'm not an established artist with I'm not going to lose thousands and thousands of pounds from not touring, so I may as well just keep putting it out. And I did lose obviously all my gigs for 2020, but I think that the major thing that happened was that it allowed me to connect with more people, this community, which has just been such a lifeline for me through this whole last year, and genuinely one of the best things I think that's happened. It's just so lovely because I think where I live, there's a really great music scene, but it's pretty sort of indie, as in guitar-y. It's very guitar heavy.
Right.
It's very men with guitars, and not a lot of kind of drama.
Right.
And I can't help it. I've just got a lot of drama. I can't help it.
Yeah.
So it's nice to kind of connect with loads of other artists whose music I love and who I've come to love as people as well. So it's just been really cool. And I think actually in some ways releasing it during the pandemic helped. I got a lot of really good press, and I think that wouldn't necessarily, print press, it wouldn't necessarily have happened had I released it another time, because big artists had decided not to release at that point. So,
Right.
It just meant I got a spot that if it wasn't in the pandemic might have been filled. So it was good for that in that sense.
Yeah, I think a lot of people benefited from that. In terms of the touring situation, I just want to ask you this, and then we're going to get into our final game of the show. But the UK is facing something really awful right now when it comes to touring, when you actually will be able to tour again. Can you tell the audience a little bit about this? Because I know you've tweeted about it. I've seen you get into it a bit because you're very passionate about it, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I am. I can't. I'm one of these people who I think that you guys are similar, but it's something really, I'm very politically engaged, and I feel I'm quite passionate, and we're all fire signs. You just have to sometimes express that stuff, and I mean, I voted against Brexit. I voted against Brexit for a lot of reasons. My main reason was that I knew that the Brexit vote was ultimately a racist vote, and I want there to be more movement, freedom of movement for people, not less. And that was the major thing for me. And also, I grew up in France. I feel very European. I just didn't like what it stood for, and I was shocked we were all shocked when it happened, because nobody we knew. Scotland didn't vote for Brexit. I should add that.
Oh, wow.
Scotland voted overwhelmingly to remain in the EU.
Yeah.
And now what's happened, and we knew this was going to happen. We actually told, at the time, we were tweeting, we won't be able to tour in Europe. So at the moment, what happened before, it's kind of like when you're in the States, that you could freely travel, you could work in any country in the EU without needing a visa, which was great.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. But now we're going to have to, like, it's impossible for small artists to tour, because what you need to do is you need to have a visa for every country, a work visa. You can't take equipment in and out of different countries. And you have to have like a carnet thing, like you have to fill out loads of paperwork for every piece of equipment that you end up taking on tour. And it costs money to have a visa for every single person in your touring party. And it means that you can't do things like I couldn't like go to Paris and play a show for like £100, which I could have done before, because it would probably have covered my travel, and then I could have stayed with a friend or something. Whereas now, it would be like the travel, but then it would also be this thing. So it's just prohibitive for small artists. If you're like Radiohead, it's totally fine. Although actually the guy from Radiohead wrote an article. Oh, yes. It's impossible.
Yeah, so indie artists are screwed.
It's really like, yeah. And even I have friends who are at a stage in their career where they've worked for a long time, they're pretty well known, and even those friends are like, what the fuck am I going to do? I don't think I'm going to afford this.
It cuts into the bottom line.
And the thing is also that it totally does. Yeah, and European festivals aren't going to want to book emerging UK artists when they could just book them from like anywhere else in Europe, which is totally fair.
I didn't even think about that.
They shouldn't do that.
Yeah, God.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
Well, hopefully there will be some rectifying of this in the future, and it does just take people like you speaking up to make sure that it's known, and hopefully there will be enough of an uprise that this will change. We haven't seen the residual effects of this yet because no one's been able to tour, but it's gonna come. It's gonna come.
Oh, it'll come. You know what? You know what it'll be? I think it'll be when all the like ballet companies and the opera companies can't tour.
Right.
Then they'll start.
Yeah, true enough. True enough. Ugh. Kisos, should we do our giveaway now really quick for Threadless? For those who have entered, essentially Threadless has kindly given us $150 every single week to give away to use on their website. And actually I'm wearing some Queerantine merchandise today that is available in the Threadless store. What person did your tongue pick, Kisos?
I don't know if they won, I don't know if they won. I don't know if they are here, but I don't know if anyone who's going to win is still here. So I'm just going to re-pick a few and period. First was Camus. Leonardo, are you here? Camus, are you here? Anyone lurking out there?
Let's give them a second to see if anything comes up, and if not, we can always pick, just someone randomly from the chat, and that'll be that.
We can have Ash win again. Let me go through and see who has entered that is here, and then I can like.
Jay Gregory's here. Did Jay Gregory enter at all?
I'm
spilling water all down my face.
See Jay Gregory enter.
Jay Gregory, how could you miss the opportunities? I'm going to virtually slap you. We will keep moving on, and we'll pick a winner. We may just have to email someone after the show, Kisos, and just let them know that they won. We can make an exception this time. But I have prepared.
Oh, maybe it missed it. I don't see any entries though.
We will figure it out offline.
Jay Gregory's entries all along, and Jay Gregory has been cursed because I don't see a Jay Gregory.
Why don't we lift the curse?
It does go for both.
Let's lift the curse and give it to Jay Gregory this week. I am making an executive decision. Congratulations, Jay Gregory. You've won a $50 gift card. Now, we have our final game, which is a little different from our usual games. We are playing something called Look, Be Elektra Tonight. I'm going to bring us over to our other screen. And this lined up quite nicely this time. I'm very proud of myself. And what we're going to do here is, I thought because Elisabeth has so many iconic looks, in place of a final game, we could go through some of those looks Elisabeth's created, and she could tell us about them. And as we go through each look, with our eyeshadow palettes, we can recreate one little element on our own faces while Elisabeth is explaining what these different looks are. If that works for you, Kisos and Elisabeth, I'd like to get started.
Oh, I'm ready, yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, Elisabeth, the first look, it may take a second to appear on your screen, but it is one of my personal favorites. Can you see it yet?
I can
No.
see it, yeah.
So give us
yes.
give us the background while Kisos and I decorate ourselves.
So this look, the corset I had made by a really talented costume maker in Scotland called Sarah McClintock.
Oh, wow.
And she does a lot of kind of period reproduction pieces, and I had this idea that I wanted to have a kind of PVC but Victorian shaped corset. So she found an old Victorian pattern from a Victorian corset that's made from a pattern from like the 1800s.
Oh my
Super fun.
god.
I love it. But
That's so cool.
And actually the plastic there, it's made out of plastic, PVC, and all of the shimmery stuff, it's just slipped in, so you can take that out and you can actually fill it with whatever you want.
Or you can go
fill it with,
see-through.
like anything at all.
M&M's.
Or you could go see-through.
Hey, Elisabeth, we're doing an X-rated Queerantine sometime in the future. If you ever decide that maybe you want to get into that,
True.
I'm just saying.
100%.
Okay, let's move on.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Did you have something else to add to that, or can?
No, I was just going to say that the headpiece was from my friend Debbie, and it's made by a great designer called House of Malachi.
That
They are an
headpiece
LA
was
designer.
gorgeous too. I love it. That whole look was so iconic when it came out, and still is. The next look that we have here, which
Wait, what did you do for the look, Corey?
I have
What
like
did
a
you add
little
for
bit.
that one?
I tried to make a little bit of the mask happen here with the same color. It's hard to tell on the little
Ooh, I
screen,
see.
but you'll see it. What did you do, Kisos?
I put the yellow glow that was shining on Elisabeth's chin on my chin. The sunshine.
Beautiful. I love it. Okay, Elisabeth, this is one of my favorites. I'm gonna say that about every single one, but I particularly love the
Honestly,
wig.
right?
So tell us about the backstory here.
I bought that wig in a great wig shop in Austin, Texas, called I think it's called Coco Coquette. And
great name.
yeah, and actually that set, the lilac set, belongs to my friend Marina, who took the photo, and the photo is taken on Marina's bed.
Ooh,
really?
saucy.
Saucy.
Did you? This is the photo of your most recent single too, correct?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dance
yeah.
remix.
Okay.
Which is on our playlist.
It is on our playlist. So I did the purple lips, which you can kind of see.
I tried to add on some of that cheek contour, but looking in this backwards,
Oh, it's looking good, Kisos.
one of them is, and the other one's kind of vertical. But you know
Well,
what?
I can't see one of them, but I can see the other one really well, and it's looking good.
Yeah, that one's too light over here.
We're
But
getting
the other
Cory's
one's
electrified.
really gone for it.
Well, yeah, come on.
Smooth.
I mean,
Oh my god. Yeah, I'm going backwards.
I'm only able to do this once in a while, so we're gonna go. Okay, can you see the next look, Elisabeth?
I can.
Okay, tell us about it.
This was taken in Paris at Fashion Week
Oh, wow.
during an installation called Minimalist Bedroom Girls by an artist called Sarah Weiss, and it was also taken by Marina. All my photos are taken by Marina Feeney. And so it was in this bedroom of a hotel in Paris, and the bedroom had been made into an installation, and then we took photos in there, and the headpiece and necklace are both by a really incredible Chicago artist called Sky Kubakub, who has a company called Rebirth Garments that you should look out for. They're really, really great.
It's so pretty.
It's beautiful.
Extravagant.
The headpieces in general that you wear, Elisabeth, I'm always obsessed with. Like, they just really bring the looks together. And right now I'm trying to...
Fun.
Thanks. I actually am going to put one on right now.
Well,
So
please, indulge us. Indulge the chat. Make it happen for us, please.
there
Oh,
we go.
yes. Here we are. Now we're cooking. Now we're cooking with oil. All right, so I've got a little diamond that was very difficult to design while looking backwards in a camera.
Cute.
What did you do, Kisos?
Yeah. I tried to just do the simple like wing, but you can see on this side, she went a little crooked. This one was half decent.
Beautiful.
That one, no.
I will bring it into, oops, sorry, that's one that I want to bring it into this one. And this I had not seen before doing my research. Tell everyone about this look.
So I used to like. I mean, I'm a goth at heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a sparkly goth, basically. And
Yeah.
I worked with this photographer in Sunderland in England called Ian Taylor, who just makes these really beautiful, moody, dark images. And I just kind of wanted to do something sort of more monochrome. And this is one of the shots from it. And I actually made that headpiece, which is some crystals that I bought. And then I attached them to a cheap little thing. And that's the result.
Oh, wow. Now, is that...
I love it.
And actually, this is funny. The girl who did my makeup was my friend Emily, who got me into stripping. So there we go.
Oh, full circle. I love it. Now, is that your hair, Elisabeth, or is that a wig?
Yes.
That's your hair?
Yeah, that's my hair in that photo, yeah.
Got it. It's gorgeous. It gives me Bjork vibes for some reason. I don't know why, but like that's what I felt when I saw it. Okay, our final one, and I discovered this one on your Instagram, and only because I want to know the story behind the tights. So please.
Wait, where? Oh my God. I really like tights. I just love tights. And, you know, I remember that was actually when I just moved to Glasgow.
Oh, wow.
And I just, we were going out one night and I was like, okay, I'm going to wear my tights and some hot pants and my thigh-high boots. And this was the result. And those are they're Wolford tights. I think I still have them actually.
They're gorgeous. They're so cute.
It.
Okay, I'm going to do a little tiger stripe on one cheek just to like kind of pull the look together.
I'm trying to...
Oh my God, Kisos' hair.
This is from the last one. I'm trying to find where I just put the eyebrow pencil to draw a stripe.
I only have a palette and I can't really see myself, so this is all very interpretive.
Very glamorous, Cory.
I look like I'm about to rob a bank in a Batman movie, to be honest, but it's fine. Kisos has disappeared. Those were the looks that I selected, though. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Kisos.
Oh, I was just gonna say I was trying to find my eyebrow pencil so I could do a little tiger stripe.
A little squiggly stripe.
That's definitely
gonna take us back over
you
here.
can see it.
And now you can really appreciate the beauty that has occurred over on my stream. And Kisos still looks somewhat human.
Beautiful, guys.
Thank you.
It's actually beautiful. You both look wonderful.
Honestly, I'm kind of into it.
You've
And I'm
done me
not
justice.
I'm feeling sexy.
I'm gonna take some.
Honestly, really great.
I'm gonna take some art pop photos after this stream because I feel like maybe I'll be able to use them for something. Elizabeth, where is that headpiece from?
I had this made for my wedding.
Oh wow!
Wow.
It's based on a Hedy Lamar's headpiece in the Ziegfeld Follies. Is that what it's called? I can't remember. It's like old Hollywood, basically, and she wears this like incredible thing, and that's what this is based on.
It's gorgeous.
So cute.
How many do you have?
Queen of the Stars.
How many headpieces would you say you have in your collection? This is my final question. I promise I'm gonna let you go. like at least 5. Beauty.
That's sensible.
Yeah, that's sensible.
Maintainable.
And you
amount of headpieces for a person to have.
Yeah.
True enough. Well, it has been an absolute delight hanging with you, Elisabeth, and thank you for staying up past bedtime for us today. We had such a good time getting to know you.
Thank you guys so much for having me.
And
Yes.
It's been so lovely chatting to you both.
I'm going to put your command one more time in the chat so people can go and follow Elisabeth. That concludes our episode for today. Thank you, Elisabeth, again. Thank you, Kisos. And we will catch you all next week for our finale episode. Thank you, everyone who came today to Queerantine. We'll talk to you later. Bye.